Okay, so today we are answering a yes or no question. So, first of all, if you're new here, thank you for joining me for this reading. Thank you for checking me out. My name is Juliana. Welcome to Sunflower Philosophy Tarot, and welcome back if you have been to one of my readings before. I am keeping it simple today. Short and simple, just quick yes or no. So, I'm going to get into the group selection in a few moments, but before I do that, as usual, I would like to do a brief centering exercise. So, for anyone who's new here, that's just an exercise where we just collectively center ourselves, get in touch with our own intuition, just take a few moments to meditate a little bit before getting into the reading. And for today's reading, I would like to offer that for the brief centering exercise, you can use it to also formulate your question or tune into what question you actually want to ask, especially if you're not sure if you have a yes or no question, but you're here and you're curious. And for those of you who do have a question, maybe you can hone in on exactly what you want to ask around the situation or thing that you're asking about. But yeah, regardless, if you'd like to get centered, you can join me for that now. So, let's get into our brief centering exercise. As usual, if you are in the middle of driving or doing any kind of activity where you have to pay attention, please skip this and come back for it later. But for everyone who is able to get comfy, decide what position you want to be in. And when you are ready, if you feel called to, you may close your eyes and bring your attention to your breathing. And just begin by noticing your inhale and exhale for a few breaths. And as you notice the sensation of inhaling and exhaling, you may intend to inhale anything that is loving and aligned with you right now. Just imagine that you're inhaling positive, helpful, healing energy of any kind that is relevant to you right now. And exhaling anything that's just ready to go. You don't have to know what it is. You don't even have to name it. Just imagine you're just letting go of anything that is not aligned with you with each exhale, feeling physically lighter and more at ease with each out breath. This is a useful process for clearing your mind, clearing your energy, so that you can be more aligned with what is truly meant for you. And in this particular reading, in which we will be answering a yes or no question, you may set the intention now to, as you breathe and center with yourself, align with the question that is most needing to be answered for you. And you don't have to overthink it. Just let what comes to you come to you and trust your intuition. You will know what you really need the answer to, what's in your actual best interest. And it could be the question that's on your mind right now. You might start to, as you continue to inhale and exhale, you might notice as you start to feel lighter, you also feel any heavy energy that might be associated with your question, if there is any, also starts to lighten as well. And you just start to feel more at ease and more curious. And just know that no matter what messages you get today, your intuition will tell you what is aligned and what isn't, and you will ultimately gain clarity in one way or another as to what is truly aligned with you. Let that be your intention above all, and also let it be your intention to fully align with your truth and what you know is actually in your best interest. Because at the end of the day, you know. You can feel confident in yourself. You can feel confident in your intuition. Feel confident that clarity is on its way. Excellent. So you may, if you would like to continue in meditation for a little while longer, set the intention now to, you can pause the video and set the intention to return when you feel naturally ready to. But for those of you who are ready, who are just ready to get into the reading, we will now move into the group selection. Thank you for those of you who joined me for the brief centering exercise, and thank you to those of you who did not. Regardless, this is now the group selection portion, and I will talk a little bit more about this reading and how it's structured. It is intended to be a very quick reading. Just, we get in there, we get out. You know, we get a yes or no answer, and we give some context, and we get out. So I do have these quote cards here for each group for you to choose from that will contribute to the context around the answer that we get in some way, shape, or form. But I will just be pulling one tarot card, or ideally one will pop out, but you know, whatever needs to come out will come out. One tarot card from this deck that will simply show us if the answer is a yes or a no, and then once we get the yes or no, which will just be predicated on simply whether the card is upright or reverse, then I will look at both the quote and the card itself for further context. So that is how we're going to be doing it. We're going to be keeping it simple. And as always, use your intuition, all right? Use your intuition. And if you get an answer right away that doesn't feel aligned with you, take note of that, take note of that and be aware that you can trust yourself above all. But this might provide some further clarity for you, and you'll ultimately know if the answers that you get from each group are what you need to hear. And as always, you can choose a different group if one doesn't resonate with you, or you can choose more than one group. You can choose more than one group to answer one question. You can choose more than one group to answer multiple different questions. It's all up to you. So, with that being said, we have 4 groups, and group 1 is this card. So these quote cards, if you're new here, have an image on the front and a quote on the back. I will read the quote during the reading. For group 2, we have this card. For group 3, we have this card. And for group 4, we have this card. So feel free to take all the time you need to decide which group is for you. You can use these cards as reference. You can just use your intuition, whatever you're being drawn towards. You can use the timestamps. And when you're ready, the timestamps are in the description in the pinned comment, so you can go click your group, and I will see you over in your reading. Hi, group 1. If you selected this quote card, then you're in the right place, and this is your quick yes or no reading. So the idea is that you have a question, a yes or no question that we're going to answer today. I'm going to pull a tarot card from this deck, and whether it's upright or reverse will determine whether it's a yes or no. Very simple. And then the card itself will provide context that may just elaborate on the situation a bit for you. And of course, as usual, take what resonates with you and leave what doesn't. If something just doesn't make sense for your situation, you can just trust that it's for someone else. And this quote card as well, there's a quote on the back. I will read that and also get a little bit of additional context for you as well. And it might just have some additional wisdom for you in terms of how you move forward. So yeah, as always, use your intuition. You'll, at the end of the day, know what answer is truly right for you, regardless of what the cards say. So let's get your answer. So focus on your question that you're asking. Make sure that you're asking the question you really want answered, and that it's a yes or no question. So that will be the easiest way to get a straightforward answer here. So for group 1, what is the answer to group 1's question? Well, that came out really fast, and that's the Queen of Wands. Oh, interesting. And I'm not taking really the bottom of the deck, but the Queen of Cups is on the bottom of the deck. So the fact that there's 2 queens showing up, that feels significant. So Queen of Wands is the first card out, and it's upright. That was a very quick, upright yes. So whatever you were asking, the answer is yes. And very importantly, the Queen of Wands is most likely representative of you. It could be representative of another person if there's someone else maybe involved in the question that you were asking about. And you'll know if you see this card and it reflects that person, then that is also relevant for you. But I feel like for a lot of you, this also is in reference to your own personal power. This is basically like whatever you say goes. So if the answer to the question being yes is what you want, then yes, go for it. It is for you. I also feel like with the Queen of Wands here, she is not unlike the King of Wands, who's very active and a go-getter. It's not that the Queen of Wands isn't a go-getter. I feel like she is very much sort of the more feminine energy of that. But more so than going and getting, she brings opportunities towards her. So I feel like whatever this question was about that you asked, it could have to do with some kind of opportunities, whether you should take something or not, or whether something is meant for you or not, or whether something will come to you or not. And this is saying like whatever you're drawing towards you is meant for you. You're very magnetic. You are manifesting. You are bringing in the opportunities that are meant for you. And so anything that you feel drawn towards organically and naturally, you can trust that. And you can trust yourself and your power. And at the same time, there's also an element of personal free will here where I feel like you don't have to wait for permission. If you decide that something is right for you, then it's right for you. It's that kind of feeling. Like you're really in your personal power. You're feeling confident. You're feeling really good. And even if you're not necessarily feeling really good, I don't know what this question was about, but I do feel like your confidence is something that will either result from like taking some kind of action in this area or from, I don't know, something that's happening around whatever you're asking about. There's a lot of confidence to be gained there, but there's also the concept of stepping into your confidence first and from that place just being like, yes, this is what I'm doing. Now I want to take a look at your quote card as well to just solidify this message. So first of all, you notice we have this like singular like branch and then all these other branches, and I don't remember exactly what quote is on the back of this card yet, but I would have to bet it has something to do with timelines. But yeah, I feel like there's almost all these different kinds of timelines. Maybe there's a question of like, should you make a certain choice or not, like do a certain action because you're wondering like, will this be aligned with my correct timeline? Like, am I making the right choice for me? Like, where will this lead? Is it going to lead me to the best timeline? And I almost feel like, again, with the Queen of Wands here, it's less about the choice that you make being right for you and more about you being in the right energy to make the most of like whatever direction you take. Like you're in the driver's seat. You're not looking for permission from anyone else. You're not looking for, even though you're here like at this tarot reading, it's kind of like you don't need confirmation from me. Like you kind of already know. And it's really just a matter of you trusting yourself and trusting that you can make a decision and then make it the right decision. It's reminding me of something I once saw someone say about like, instead of hovering in indecision, like, and wondering, is this the right decision or is that the right decision? If you're stuck there, just make a decision and then make it the right decision. And I almost feel like that's the energy here. I feel like you're in a really powerful place, whether you realize it or not. And I just heard you have nothing to worry about. So hopefully that's relevant for some of you. But let me read the quote. So it says, "Don't turn away from possible futures before you're certain you don't have anything to learn from them." This is from Illusions by Richard Bach. Yeah, so maybe you are considering like the different future outcomes that, I mean, usually that's what's happening when we're asking like, should we do this or should we do that? And maybe that's what your question is around. If it is around that, then yeah, like there's this concept of, again, like being powerful and confident enough in yourself that you know that no matter what you choose, it will be right for you. You will make it right for you. And also there's an element of playfulness and fun in terms of let's explore this option. Let's have fun exploring this option. And whatever comes of this path, I will learn something, I will grow, and it will be a good time. Like there's a lightheartedness here as well. There's an ease. There's a, I know what I'm doing and I trust myself. So yeah, that's your message. I hope that was helpful. I hope you feel a little bit clearer and more confident on whatever it was that you're asking about. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. If you are interested in a personal reading, then you can check out our website, sunflowerphilosophy.com, link in the description. For the offerings. And then we also offer hypnosis and human design services. So if you want to check those out as well, feel free to check them out. And yeah, thanks again. I hope this was helpful. Have a wonderful life. And I will see you in another reading again sometime very soon. Bye. Hi, Group 2. If you selected this card, then you're in the right place. And this is your yes or no reading. So we're just keeping it quick and simple. We are getting a yes or no answer. I am going to be pulling a tarot card from this deck, and whatever comes out, if it comes out in the upright, it's a yes. If it comes out in the reverse, it's a no. And whatever the card is will provide further context that may or may not relate to your specific situation and give you more information on why that it is that answer and anything else you need to know. And then we also have this quote card here. So there's a quote on the back of this card that has further information for you as well. Some wisdom that might be helpful for you in terms of how you move forward based on the answer you receive here. And as always, regardless of what answer comes out here, you will know if it's aligned with you or not. You will know what is ultimately for you. So listen to your intuition, trust yourself, and let's get into it. So Group 2's yes or no question. Let's get their yes or no answer. So what is the answer to Group 2's, whoa, that's too many cards popping out. What is the answer to Group 2's question? Yep. Okay. That's too many cards. So I'm going to shuffle up one more time. See if we can get one card. And if I have to take more than one, we will. But yes or no, what is the answer to Group 2's question? Okay. Ooh, that shot right out. Wow. Oh, let me cover this up a little bit. I don't know if it's going to really... Well, I think it usually is fine with this deck because they're not really... They don't have, like, really human realistic features. So this is the Judgment card. So we got the Judgment card, which it popped out in the upright. So it is a yes. And I almost feel like, in a way, it's a yes, but it's also, like... There was something that did come about in terms of, like, use your own judgment, like it's up to you, which is a little bit similar to something that came out in Group 1. But I feel like in this case, it's almost also like something's going to happen in whatever you're asking about. Like something's going to come to light or come to fruition no matter what. It's like a matter of time. It's like it's like Judgment Day. Like something will come to light, something will happen. So it's almost like I feel like there's like you have no choice. Something here, I don't know like exactly obviously what you asked, but something here will happen. Like it's just a matter of time. It's just like not even just a matter of time. Like I feel like it is happening, like it's inevitable. And it kind of just has to happen that way. And it's really just how you approach it, like how you choose to address it, that matters. It's something around you using your own personal judgment to decide how you're going to handle what actually happens here. So yeah, I don't know if you asked whether or not something was going to happen or if you asked about some kind of action that you're looking to take. But again, like it's a yes, but it's like, again, there's something inevitable here. And there is something about, it's like not really like whether or not this thing will happen. It's more like what you do with it. We have this peace sign here. So I feel like whatever this is, though, will bring you a certain amount of peace. And or you'll know that you'll know the correct way to respond to the situation for you based on how much peace that option brings you. So yeah, there's some kind of choice here where you're choosing how to respond to something, you're choosing how to look at something or think about something, and the quote-unquote correct or aligned way for you is going to be the one that ultimately brings you to a place of peace in your life, in your internal emotional world, whatever it is. Like your signpost, your focus point is peace. That's important here. So with that, let's read the quote on the back, which is, "Here's to peace and those who get in the way of it." And this is from Fleabag, quote from the Hot Priest from Fleabag. Perhaps Fleabag is an important show for you, and there could be an element here. Maybe some of you have trouble trusting your own judgment, and you might be someone who's really looking for someone to tell you what to do. But you also, this thing that you're asking about might also have to do with other people. I also got the word whistleblower here. So for some of you, you're also wondering about whether or not to blow the whistle on something or, expose something. And again, like there's a yes here, but it's whatever is going to ultimately lead you to the most peace. So, for example, maybe in some cases, exposing something, just bringing something to the surface that's been sort of like bubbling up for a long time and just like exposing it in some way would actually bring you a sense of like internal peace because the truth is finally out there, it's finally being addressed. And in some cases, maybe bringing something to the surface would feel like starting something that you actually don't want to deal with. But I feel like it could also just be a more complex situation where there's ways that you can go about it that will bring more peace than others. And it's just being discerning about what way you want to take it. Like how do you want to go about this? How do you want this to come out? How do you want to expose this? If that is something that's relevant to your situation, if that's what you're dealing with, that probably won't be for everyone who's asking about something here. Like not everyone's going to necessarily have a situation that they want to like blow the whistle on, but if that's your situation, it might be a matter of just reflecting on the way that you go about it. It's like, yes, that is something that's aligned with you doing that thing, but it's also how you do that thing. And I feel like that's true for whatever you're asking about. If it's something where you're taking an action or you're saying something to someone or you're having a conversation or whatever it is, it's less whether or not you do it. It's kind of like, yes, like go for it, but also consider how you are going about it and how you're going about it, how that affects you, how that affects your life, and what you're willing to take on and what you're not willing to take on. And try to do right by you. At the end of the day, whatever you decide, it's about doing right by you and doing right by your sense of peace. If that's something that you value or that's something that resonates with you, keep that in mind. And for some of you as well, there might be an element of letting go of judgments around people outside of you, around a situation that exists that is outside of your experience that might cause you a lot of internal conflict. If say it's like an influential figure in a community or someone who is who you see a lot in your life who just rubs you the wrong way or preaches things you don't agree with or who makes decisions that make you anxious. There's also this element of like, how are you going to handle that in terms of, are you like, is there something that needs to like, do you need to address it head on? Do you need to talk to this person or call them out? Or do you need to sort of divert your attention, move on from that situation, cut that off, be honest with yourself about how it's affecting you and decide that it's not worth your time and energy. So there's something about that here. And like I said, ultimately, like something's going to come to light or something's going to come to fruition here. Something's going to come out one way or another. But it's, again, just like, how do you want to respond? How do you want to go about it? And how does that impact your peace? Keep that in mind, and everything will work out in the way that is meant to for you, for the best. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that resonated, and please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know below how that resonated with you. And if you are interested in a personal reading, if you are interested in human design or hypnosis services, we do offer those on our website, sunflowerphilosophy.com, linked in the description. And thanks again for watching. Have a wonderful life, and I will see you in another reading again sometime very soon. Bye. Hi, Group 3. If you selected this card, then you're in the right place, and this is your reading with a yes or no answer for you. So ideally, you've got a yes or no question in mind, and we're going to answer that question with a simple turn of a card today. So I am going to get a card from this pile, and whether it comes out upright or reverse, that will tell us a yes for upright, a no for reverse. And then the card itself will give us extra context or insight along with the quote that's on the back of this card here. So we're just going to keep it simple. We're going to keep it quick. It's been really interesting so far, but also just refreshingly fast and simple. And as always, use your intuition. You know what? No matter what comes out here, you internally, you will really know deep down what is truly aligned with you. And it's also okay if you don't right away, but set the intention for clarity and trust that clarity will come to you in the form of a message here and throughout the rest of your day and the days to come. So with that, let's just jump right in and get a yes or no answer for you. So for group 3, okay. 2 cards came out and they're on their side. So this feels like a maybe. What's interesting is that the Judgment card, and I shuffled this before I did your reading. I shuffled this in between readings, but the Judgment card actually came out in the last group. But now it came out here with the 4 of Pentacles right underneath it, so I'm taking both. And the fact that they came out on their side feels important, because this really feels like a maybe. This feels like almost like it could go either way, which might be a frustrating answer, but let's take a look at this. So with the Judgment card here, first of all, I got this a bit with the last group too, but like your own judgment is ultimately important here. How you choose to move and act from your own, like, it's almost like it's less important which, if this is a decision where you're deciding between one thing or another, or to do this or to not do this, it's important that you use your own discernment. Like, the process of discerning what is right for you is almost like an important part of this, where that's why you're not getting like a straightforward answer here. But I do feel like an important question to ask yourself that's coming out is, how am I holding myself back? And am I holding myself back? And what is one thing I could do in this situation to break free of that a little bit? Because I feel like there's whatever, I don't know what you're asking about, but there's some way in which you're holding yourself back, and like you will be called out by the universe to finally like break free or take a step outside of your comfort zone. Like, I do feel like with the Judgment card here, this usually to me speaks of something that's inevitable. And in a way, I feel like making a decision here is inevitable for you, but it's like you're deciding from a place of what decision feels more like holding myself back and what feels more like stepping out of my comfort zone. And it's kind of like you're going to be forced to make that decision eventually. So it's just kind of how soon are you willing to push yourself, to push your boundaries. But in that, there's the discernment of what is truly aligned with you and what is not, right? Because sometimes we push ourselves into discomfort from a space of like self-punishment, or feeling like we're not good enough unless we take this risk or try this thing. And then other times we're pushing ourselves out of a space of discomfort because we know we're holding ourselves back, and we know we're being a little too self-protective, and it's uncomfortable and it's not healthy for us to continue holding back in that way. Like, we're ready for more, and it's only a matter of time before we have to make that leap anyway, and it's just a matter of just breaking free. But I also feel like there's a message here that you don't have to decide right away. I think that if this was a matter of like, yes, just go for it. Yes, you know what you know in your heart what's right for you, and like, I feel like it would come forward with a straightforward yes or no. And the fact that it's not, I do feel like there's an element of you don't have to like make an impulsive or split-second decision. But again, ask yourself these questions. Like, literally ask yourself this question and journal on it. Like the question of, am I holding myself back? How am I holding myself back? Why am I holding myself back? Is that even what's happening here? That's what I'm getting with the 4 of Pentacles, by the way, is like holding back, like self-protecting, staying in your comfort zone. And Judgment to me is like very much calling you out of your comfort zone, right? So I do feel like it's not necessarily a straightforward answer for you right now. I feel like there's a lot of, you're not really clear within yourself, and that's okay. I feel like that's where you're meant to be. So don't panic about that. Don't worry about that. But if you can, like, for example, ask yourself those questions and write them down, journal on them, just do some automatic writing where you just write and you don't think too hard about it. You just let whatever comes out, come out. You might be surprised at some of the insights you get. Like, I feel like there is, if you sit down with the intention of receiving clarity, even if it doesn't come immediately, even if it doesn't come the first day or the second day or the third day, like, it will come. And as long as you're intending to move forward in a way that is aligned with you, and do your best to understand yourself and your situation, why you are hesitating. I feel like there's hesitation here. There's a either a hesitation or an unwillingness to break with a certain pattern that, like, you ultimately, like, something will have to change. Like, something is going to change here. It's really just a matter of, like, in what way. And either it's going to be how you're seeing yourself and a situation that you're in, or it's going to be how you're acting and responding to a situation and maybe, like, making a different situation, doing something outside of what you usually do. I feel like it's going to go one of those ways. Let's look at your quote card here, first of all. We have this card with, I feel like there's, like, some confusion in, like, these squiggly lines here. Like, you could go in all these different directions, and maybe there's, like, some, I don't know, side quests or different paths that you're like, I could do this or I could do that. There's, like, some, there's, like, confusion about where you're moving forward, which makes sense because we're not having a straightforward answer here. So this says, for someone who loved words as much as I did, it was amazing how often they failed me. From If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. Yeah, for someone who loved words as much as I did, it was amazing how often they failed me. You don't have, like, the words, I feel like, you don't know what you want. You don't know what you want, and that is okay. And this, honestly, this reading isn't going to tell you what exactly you want. But I feel like the reason I gave the example of the journaling exercise is because I do feel like doing some kind of, like, journaling exercise or channeling or, like, speaking something aloud, maybe even having a conversation with someone, a confidant, a friend, a family member, a therapist, whatever it is, like, voicing something out loud. The specific example too is, like, even if you're just, like, writing in your journal, if there's some kind of just anxiety or fear that you're afraid to voice it. Put it down in writing or put it out there to a friend or whatever. Voice it, and not in a way where you're trying to perpetuate it or dwell on it, but just voice it because it's like, hey, listen, like, this is just unironically, genuinely how I'm feeling. I feel like there could be some suppression of concerns, judgments, fears, things that you don't want to be honest about, but, like, once they come out, I feel like that will alleviate some of the pressure for you. And also it's, like, almost like they're, like, keeping you stuck, keeping, like, you in this, like it's like these concerns are staying inside and draining your energy and keeping you from being able to actually, like, move forward in some way. And then once you uncork the bottle, so to speak, once you, like, let loose some of these concerns, some of these things, you'll be surprised at where you come to, like, how quickly some of that is just processed out of your system, how quickly you come to a different perspective on certain things. And maybe even you'll have some movement in your, like, physical reality that you didn't expect to have from literally just getting certain things out, you know? Like, that's a possibility as well. But there's something about getting your, like, words right, like, finding the right words to say, or just, like playing with different ways of thinking about, speaking about, and writing about your situation. And just listening to the words that you say and finally understanding what I feel like there is something about how you're thinking or acting or speaking about this situation that you're asking about that is playing a role in how it's playing out in your life, and becoming aware of how you're using those words and realizing, like, the kinds of words that you're putting out into your reality about the situation, and understanding, like, that is creating your situation. And once you notice that, you can start to change the narrative. You can start to change the story. Because you're becoming aware that, like, the words that you're speaking and thinking are telling a story that might not be aligned with actually what you want. And once you start to play with that story, change the way you're thinking and speaking about it, then you will start to come to more clarity about whether this is a yes or no for you, or if this is even a situation that requires a yes or no answer. Because I feel like it's very murky here for a lot. Like, there's a lot of unclarity. But you're coming here for a reason, you're seeking answers for a reason, and it's because, like, you're being pushed to, you're being encouraged to seek those answers. So, yeah, I feel like the end point of this is a mystery for now, but it's meant to be, and you're meant to puzzle this out a bit, to do a little bit of work and see where it leads you. Yeah. Very interesting. So I hope this is helpful. That's all we have. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. I hope this resonated. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how it resonated and what this means to you, if you feel like sharing. And yeah, if you're interested in a personal reading, we do offer those on our website, sunflowerphilosophy.com, link in the description. And we also offer human design and hypnosis services. So if you're interested in any of those, check that out. Thanks again for watching. Have a wonderful life, and I will see you in another reading again sometime very soon. Bye! Hi Group 4, if you selected this card, then you're in the right place, and this is your yes or no reading. So ideally, you will have a question in mind that is a yes or no question, and we will just be giving a relatively straightforward yes or no answer, hopefully, although it, depending on how the cards fall out, we'll see. I do want to say that no matter what comes out, whatever answer comes out, you will know what is truly aligned with you deep in your soul, in your heart. Your intuition will tell you. So just stay in touch with that. Know that you ultimately, at the end of the day, know best. And so there's a quote on the back of this card that we'll read later, but we're first just going to get a card from this deck that will be either a yes or a no. Yes will be upright, no will be in reverse, and then whatever the card is will provide additional context to the situation that may be helpful for you. So let's just do it. Let's get into it. So for Group 4, what is the answer to Group 4's yes or no question? Okay. We have a yes. And we have the Page of Swords. Interesting. So this... Interesting. Okay, so this is a yes. I know that the nature of the question that everyone here asks, because it's a big group, I'm sure, of people who will eventually come across this, and, the scenarios and questions that you could be asking could vary wildly. But this one is interesting because a specific question came out that's like, am I good enough? Or like, am I holding back in some situation? And either way, the answer to that, those are two very different questions. Either way, the answer to that question is yes. So whether or not the yes is a response you want to hear or not, especially in this group, is subject to the individual, I feel. For some of you, a yes is a good answer, and for some of you, a yes might not be exactly what you want to hear. But with the Page of Swords here, I do feel like for all of you, this is related to some sort of communication or knowledge, like knowing. And I do feel like it could be related to another person because we do have these two hands reaching out towards each other. So I'm keeping that in mind. It's like around like the sharing of some kind of knowledge. Like, should I share this with someone else? Should I share myself, my life, my thoughts, my feelings, my ideas, and not really being sure about it? Obviously, this came out in the yes position, so we're working with that. But I can definitely feel that there's a bit of uncertainty because I almost feel like for some of you, you're asking about something where part of you is like, I think the answer is yes, because it's like, I want to do this and challenge myself. But then part of you wanted to know because you wanted an excuse to like stay in your comfort zone and not push the boundaries. That's kind of what I'm feeling, like a mixed energy here where it's almost like, yes, but... Which it's kind of reminding me of how I feel about a situation in my life where I have the opportunity to go to a book signing from an author that I really like. And I want to do it. And I'm like, yeah, that'd be fun. And like, it's no big deal. It's just a book signing. Like, plenty of people go to those things. It's like, not like, it's not a big deal. It's like, we're all just people, right? Like, I can do that if I want to. And then there's the part of me that's like, because the situation, in order to get there, it's a little bit more complicated than just like going down the street to my local bookstore. Part of me is like, ooh, if something just didn't work out and I couldn't make it, then, oh well, like, I tried. But then there's the part of me that would be actively disappointed because I know that, like, I actually want to do that and it would be cool. And there's really no reason for me to hold back. It's like, even if I ended up not having a good experience, like, it's still an experience and like, I tried it. Like, I tried something new, and that's ultimately the most important thing. But there's the shy, nervous part of me that's like, well, maybe something will just take it off the table, and then I won't have to do it. And it's hard to know in those situations. Sometimes you can get really caught up in your head about like, oh, well, what's the right move or what's not the right move. I do feel like for some of you, you might benefit from the energy of the first group, which was very much like you're in your power, what you say goes, but you don't feel that way right now. Like, I feel like you feel like you're feeling a little timid. You're like, oh, I want something, I want to do this. I know this is like ultimately aligned with me, but I also want something to take it off my hands, take it off my plate so that I don't have to do it. And I do feel like ultimately it's about resolving the energy within yourself, because I feel like the bigger part of you is a yes. And again, this could be about many different things. So maybe for some of you, it's not about like doing something, but being afraid to do it and not really like feeling up to the task. For some of you, that's not what the question was about at all. But for those of you for whom that is what it's about, it's kind of like part of you, it doesn't feel ready yet, but ultimately you know that's like what you want to do, and you know that's the direction you want to move in. So it's just a matter of finding your courage and taking sometimes for you, whether or not that you're asking about something that you actually have to actively do. I feel like there's something here about like taking baby steps or taking a small step or taking it one step at a time, and allowing yourself to be a beginner in some way, allowing yourself to be a learner, trust in your intelligence and your ability to learn on the fly, to learn new things. I feel like that's important here for you to know. Whatever you asked about, however your question was phrased, there's something important here about trusting in your intelligence and trusting in your ability that even if you are a beginner at something or new at something or unfamiliar with something, like you can learn, you can grow, and it's okay to be new. And I feel like taking that in mind, it will help you move forward in whatever way that you need to with more confidence. Let me read your quote here as well. It says, "A hunted man sometimes wearies of distrust and longs for friendship," from The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. Yeah, so this is definitely to do with trust, and I feel like what we were just talking about has to do with self-trust, but it also could be to do with self-trust and trust in the universe and trust in other people. I feel like a reason, in whatever way that you're like unsure or wavering or unsure of yourself in the situation, it comes down to building trust with yourself. So that goes back to the idea of trusting yourself to be able to grow and learn and to catch on to something new, and to also and that applies to whether you're like taking on a new job or taking on a new like learning pathway, or taking on a new relationship, taking on new friendships. This could really be about connecting with other people, right? And expressing yourself as well. Yes, if you asked about something that would require you to express yourself in some way, the answer is yes, but you have to be okay with the fact that you might feel a little uncomfortable at first, and it might be self-expression in a way you're not used to, but actively putting yourself out there and doing it, you can trust yourself to grow and learn. You are intelligent. You are smart enough for this. So it has to do with self-trust, and I feel like the answer to this is whatever leads you in the direction of more self-trust, and also whatever encourages you to develop a deeper sense of trust with yourself, with the universe, and with the world around you as well. Trusting other people with their own lives, trusting them with your own life, trusting yourself, trusting the universe, and knowing that no matter how things shake out, you making the decision to trust it's an act of faith, and it's something that at the end of the day, you'll at least be able to build trust with yourself, because you'll be able to handle whatever comes your way. Because as long as you trust yourself, then no matter what decisions anyone else makes, at the end of the day, you're like, well, I know I can handle this. I trust myself to handle this. And yeah, trust doesn't necessarily mean like knowing everything's going to work out, or knowing for sure that like this person's going to, step up in the way that I want them to, or they're going to do this, or this is going to happen in this exact way. That's not what trust is about. It's not about knowing. Trust is about like putting it out there. Like, I'm choosing to trust this, and we'll see how it turns out. But at the end of the day, I will trust that even if it doesn't turn out how my mind was thinking it would, I'm going to be able to handle it. I'm going to grow and learn through it. And ultimately, I will come out. I will be okay. That's trust. Trust isn't so specific. It's more like you put it out there and you see what happens, And at the end of the day, if you trust someone and it doesn't work out, they betray your trust, or, they make their own decision. That doesn't mean that you were wrong to trust. It was an opportunity that you were giving them, and it was an opportunity you were giving the situation and yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, so hopefully that resonates and answers your question. And yeah, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you want to, how this resonated for you. And I hope you have a wonderful day. If you're interested in a personal tarot reading, then you can check out our website, sunflowerphilosophy.com, link in the description. And also, we offer human design and hypnosis services. So if you're interested in those, you can also check out that link. Thanks again for watching. Have a wonderful life, and I will see you in another reading again sometime very soon. Bye.